Hi, this is Lori Sinclair with Bainbridge Homes Real Estate, and I'd like to talk to you today about how you can avoid paying too much for a home. If you live in a busy market like I do here in Kitsap County, Washington, homes are at low inventory levels and competition for those properties is fierce among buyers, which leaves many buyers wondering if they're paying too much. So today I'd like to talk to you about my special report that I've made, how to avoid paying too much when buying a home. So the first thing that I'd like to say about this is, you really need to know what you're shopping for before you get started. Have your parameters set up. What is the maximum amount that you're willing to spend? How much space do you really need for your family? What size yard do you want? How many bedrooms and bathrooms? These things all seem like common sense, but a lot of people haven't really thought through all of their spatial needs before they get started. And then they start looking and fall in love with a property that maybe has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and then they realize that they need an extra study because one of them is working from home. Or maybe both of them are working from home and they need some flex space that can be an office during the day and could be an entertainment area at night. So be sure you think through those things before you get started. The second tip is mortgage shop before you get started. This might, again, sound like something common sense, but a lot of people think, well, let me take a look at what the market has before I contact a mortgage lender. And that's not really the way to go about it, because you need to know what you qualify for before you ever start stepping foot into homes. The market is so tight right now that you could step into the home that you want that first day out looking. And then you're not pre-qualified, so you can't really submit an offer because the seller's not going to consider it a serious offer. Add to that the fact that during these COVID times, you really need a pre-qualification letter to even walk in a home in the first place. So be sure that you talk to a lender before you get started shopping for a home. The third tip that I would like to share with you guys today is to pick a winning team to help you along the way. A lot of people like to start looking for homes before they've chosen a real estate agent. They don't think that they need the real estate agent until they've found the property. But the fact of the matter is having a top-notch realtor on your side from the start can drastically reduce the amount of time that you spend looking for homes. A professional real estate agent is out there looking at homes every single day. They will do a thorough interview with you, looking to find out what your wants and your needs are and to find any areas that maybe you haven't thought about already with regard to your wants and needs. They can put you in touch with a top-notch lender so that you can do that mortgage shopping before you actually get started. And they can just drastically reduce that time that you'll spend looking at homes. They're out looking every single day so that you don't have to be. And then number 4 is share what you're looking for with your realtor. Again, they're going to do a thorough interview with you to make sure that they completely understand what you're looking for. And be sure that you're open and honest with them about what that is so that they can help you best. Number 5 is it's all about location. I know you've heard the saying location, 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 but it's true. Depending on where you're looking, this is going to be one of the main determining factors regarding how much your property is going to appreciate over time, how quickly it's going to appreciate over time, and how much you should spend now for that property. For instance, a property that maybe is located on a cul-de-sac that doesn't have a lot of through traffic over time is probably going to be a more desirable property than a property that's located on a busy corner. So those are things to think about when structuring your offer. Okay, number 6 is allow your realtor to narrow the prospective home list. Remember, we were just talking about how they're out looking at properties every single day. Allow your realtor to say, look, this property is not going to be right for you, where this property is, and be open to considering properties that maybe you hadn't considered before at your realtor's suggestion. You would be surprised how many times I've taken a client into a property that they had told me they didn't want to see, and then they're like, wow, I'm really glad you brought me. And they end up writing an offer on that property. So listen to your realtor. That's why you assembled a top-notch team. Okay, tip number 7, don't ignore red flags when evaluating a property. You know, sometimes a buyer will walk into a property and fall in love with a floor plan or with the shiny new kitchen, and they'll ignore other problems. Just be sure that you're using your head and not just your heart when you're looking at the property, because your heart will end up costing you money. You know, you have to understand the difference between major foundation issues and just a little bit of settling, which is why you hire a home inspector, which is tip number 8, is be sure that you hire a professional inspector. Again, this goes back to assembling that top-notch team, and your very good realtor will be able to provide you with a list of high-quality inspectors that pay attention to those details and that can properly inform you of red flags in the home so that you can evaluate whether those things are items which need to be accounted for in your offer or in the repair negotiations. And then tip number 9, choose your home with an eye towards your future needs. So if, say, for instance, you currently don't have children, but you expect to have children in the future, you know, don't just anticipate one child, maybe, you know, anticipate enough bedrooms for 2 children so that you're not having to move up quite so soon afterwards. Just be aware of the changes that might be coming. Perhaps you're moving into a property and you have 1 child left at home and he's going to be leaving in a year to go to college. Well, you're not going to need a bedroom for all of your children in the near future. So just be aware of what your future needs might be and think about that when you're looking and evaluating for a property. And then tip number 10, and this is probably the most important, and once again goes back to assembling that top-notch team and hiring a professional realtor to assist you, and that is ask for a written comparative market analysis. This is probably the most important tip outside of assembling a top-notch team, because this is how you can compare the other properties that are currently on the market and that have sold recently and see how the property that you're interested in compares to those with regard to price. You want to know when you're putting in that competitive offer, and perhaps there's an escalation charge if it's, you know, a super hot market like it is here where I am on Bainbridge Island. Then you need to know what's the maximum that you're willing to pay for that property, and that CMA, that comparative market analysis, is going to show you in very plain numbers what that is. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 tips for being sure that you don't pay too much for a property. If you'd like a hard copy of this with a lot more detail, feel free to click the link down below and I'll get you a download right away. Thanks.